Peace and love. This is Stacy Patrice, and thank you for joining us for another Hump Day edition of Tools for the Soul. Thank you so much for joining us this week and listening to our topic today, which is how do I live more authentically from my soul? Those of you that know me know that this very question is the reason that I have gone into business to address this question, to provide solutions, perspective, guidance, programming, all kinds of tools and ideas of sorts so that people can live fantastic journeys in their new and improved lifestyles. And so, what I want to talk about today is in living from the soul, how do we know when we're living from the soul? And when do we know when it's actually ego that's taking over? And the answer is really simple. Ego is simply your desire to drive. It's your desire to move past, move on, enhance, be bigger than, be better than, be quicker than. Just any of those words that bring about a sense of not being satisfied with where you already are, not being content with where you are, not really trusting where you are, having a certain amount of fear around where you are, perhaps even having a certain amount of righteousness around who you are and where you are. And so this is a great way to tell where the ego is at play. And the ego is necessary. So, some people say, oh, later for the ego. No ego. It's just not realistic. The ego is necessary. And the ego is necessary because in times when we feel fearful or in times when we feel like we have to compete or we have to present ourselves in a way that is not exactly comfortable, we have to use the ego sometimes in order to get into those places. We have to really expand on our own confidence, our own consciousness until we get better at knowing that it's there all the time and we don't have to turn it on sometimes and turn it off sometimes, but that inherently it speaks in every way that we're speaking in every place that we are. So the ego becomes a tool also that people use in order to affect their lives and create change in a new way. Problem with that is that soulful living or soul-based living, as I like to call it, is really connected to how is it that I can be exactly precise, efficient, content, confident, lovable, loving, compassionate, understanding, wise, all knowing from where I am and from where I sit right now. And the all knowing part is tricky because all knowing refers to um, a sense of deep connection to yourself and deep connection to everything that's moving around you, which is very different than I know everything. I've studied, I have the degrees, I have the knowledge, I have the friends, I have the resources, I know everything. And see, that's the ego speaking, which again, if someone is challenging the things that you do know and you're trying to impart truth, the ego may flare up in those circumstances. But in reality, we're all supposed to be connected to the idea that people are learning at different rates, at different paces, and that whether someone's maturity or immaturity shows or does not show, it's usually connected to the idea that they are attempting to purport themselves in a way that is sticking to their comfort zone of what's comfortable to them. And so the ego always flares up at those points. So then, as we relate to tools for the soul, how do we get to the place today where we can say, you know what, Stacy, I really want to live from my soul. What is it that I need to do? Okay. So I've got a few tools for you that I put together that I use in my life that I think are really helpful. And in my From the Soul coaching, where I coach clients, I also use these same tools. So tool number one, listen to your intuition over your condition. So if we look around at our lives right now, we see the things that we've been into and the things that we're doing. We may feel that we don't have the right partner or don't have enough money or don't have the right career, not sure where we're going to go, what our purpose is, why are we here, what are we doing, why do these bill collectors call, why do these people have these type of relationships with me that make me feel so isolated and alone, why is my family this way, why did they raise me this way, all of those questions that we have. Why do I live in this state, why do I live in this city, why am I listening to this video, right? These are all conditions. These are all things that are going on with us, whether it's illness, whether it's confusion, chaos, drama. These are conditions. So a great way to supersede your connection and identification with the condition is to know that your intuition is always leading you and guiding you where you want to be. How to listen to your intuition may be a different video where we talk about how you know which voice is your intuition and which one is your conditioning from other people. So separating those two voices is really key. But if you have any inkling of silence or any area in your life where there is silence, you can usually hear your intuition very clearly tell you the things that you might not want to hear, but the things that you know are necessary for your survival. Tool number two, It's just about that. Create sacred spaces for yourself. This can be meditation. This can be yoga. This can be you taking quiet time. This can be vacation time. This can be you deciding that your life will look a particular way, whether it's the comforts in your home, whether it's what it is that you surround yourself with, what type of environments and invitations you accept and step into. But these are different ways that you can definitely tap deeper into your soul and say, you know what, I think I need to create some space. I need to create a clearing. I need to create an environment. I need to create a tribe that allows me to be reflected all the time that what I am doing here is important, who I am is important, my sanity, my peace are important, and also the protection of your ideas, the protection of your voice is extremely important. Which brings us to tool number 3, express yourself. What greater way to be in tune with your soul than to express yourself? You don't have these ideas and these feelings and these concepts and these constructs for no reason. You have these because there's something in you that deeply wants to connect, to express, to be seen, to be heard, to be affirmed, to be valued, right? So how can you get that? Unless you express yourself. Even if your expressions are to a journal, even if your expressions are you singing or you creating gifts for others, I don't want you to make your expressions connected to other people's validation, but being affirmed or being seen and being heard, it gives you your right to take up space. It reminds you of your right to take up space. So if you know that you expressing yourself is a way that you can constantly be reminded that your voice matters, that what you think and what you feel matters, then go ahead and do that, because that is part of the reason that your soul is expressed through your physicality. It wants you to take those things that are within it and express them out and share them so that they can be a benefit to others, and they can also fortify your strength as who you are and why you came here and why you came to be. Tool number 4, this is such a big one. Stop hiding. Stop hiding. Some people say that as shine. Express yourself. Give yourself permission to shine. I say it as stop hiding. And the reason I say that is because saying stop hiding is an alert. We all do it in different ways, whether it's within our family structures, social structures, whether it's within our work or our desires. Sometimes we have desires all back here, right? We have all these desires like, oh, I would just love to just live a life where I could travel all the time, or I would just love to have 15 children, but I don't have a mate. These are all things that go through our heads. They're natural. We think about them. But where it becomes somewhat of an issue is when you start hiding those things. You don't express them to others. It's like as if they almost become alive the moment that you release them. So you've got to release them. Start letting people know about your inner desires. Maybe these can be trusted friends. Maybe this can be a trusted space. Again, this can be, your intentions you set when you do yoga. This can be your visioning, your journaling that you do every month. But whatever it is, you have to start putting those things out there. Start making them alive so that they can happen, so they can manifest. If you don't do that, then they become all of these layers of garbage and muck that you have on yourself when you try and step forward. And it's like you don't feel confident doing anything else because you haven't done any of those smaller things or any of those big things. You haven't even knocked the chip off of it to say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm worthy. I can do it. I'm going to go for it. So please, by all means, stop hiding. I have a quote that I penned. One day I was sitting here coaching a client and I said to myself, be the you that you are when no one is looking in front of everyone. And the reason that I pinned that quote was because oftentimes I see people in these small spaces, whether as their friend or in their home, they're free, they're joyful, they're dancing around, they're loving, they're nurturing, they're organized, they're beautiful. But then when they get around other people, they try and be so cool. They try and be like, oh, I'm not a nerd. And you got, the biggest signs of being a nerd, which is very charming. You're like, oh no, I'm not an intelligent person. I just kind of chill. Allow yourself to be the person that you are when no one is looking in front of everyone around you. Allow them to see your brilliance because they have it and you have it. So why are you hiding yours? For everybody else to express theirs? What fun is that, right? So I just wanted to share these tools from the soul with you. Leave a comment below right here on the YouTube station. Let us know how these tools work for you. Let us know what other tools work for you as it comes to living from your soul. And then give us scenarios, if you can, about times where you were living from your soul and how that worked out for you. Because some people can't really get over that hump until they see other people doing it, until they can see evidence that it actually is worth the work. So go ahead and share that. Get over that hump. Thank you again for tuning in. We will see you next hump day. Again, peace, love, blessings, namaste, ashe. Peace.